You are listening to AP Taylor Swift, the podcast for Swifties who are all about the lyrics. We're your hosts. I'm Jen.
I'm Muncie.
And I'm Jody.
And we are your unofficial professors of Taylor Swift.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of AP Taylor Swift. This week, we are deep diving Now That We Don't Talk. And this is a song that we picked in continuation with our conversation from last week, where the three of us brought in songs that we thought best related to the book, the movie, the musical Wicked, which is very timely because of all of the Wicked magic that is swirling around us. But Now That We Don't Talk, although in that context was a song about Glinda and Elphaba, is also just an incredible song that I love very, very much. It's from 1989. Taylor's version came out in 2023 and was written by Jack Antonoff and Taylor Swift. I'm excited to get into this one. One thing I will say is that whenever I hear this song, it will just be stuck in my head for the rest of the day. So now I'm just going to be like, da-da-da-da-da, like for the rest of the day. But yeah, excited to talk through exactly what it means. I mentioned in our last episode that I have always related the song to friendship. I think a lot of us will think that it could be related more to a romantic context. So before we jump in, I'm going to pass it over to Jen to just really quickly talk us through how we do deep dives.
Yeah, so we are going to think about who's the speaker, who's the audience, so who's the I, who is the you, and then what's the purpose, so what are they saying, what are they doing here, and then we'll come back at the end and we'll all share what we think the purpose of the song is. One of the things, high-level overview of this song that I think is really fascinating is how short it is. But it's also a lyrically dense short song, which I think is really interesting. Just not as a summary of like we still need to go through the lyrics, but just looking at the lyrics as we're about to go through them, I'm like, I'm not scrolling very much, unlike when we did But Daddy I Love Him. We just kept scrolling, that song kept going. But it's short, but it's there's a lot here, which is really interesting. That doesn't seem super common for her. If it's like shorter, it tends to maybe be more poppy and repetitive. This is a not repetitive short song.
Actually, this is the second shortest song so far in her discography. The shortest song is I Look in People's Windows at 2 minutes and 11 seconds, which also I think is pretty deep.
Yeah.
And this is the second shortest song at 2 minutes and 26 seconds. The third shortest is It's Nice to Have a Friend, which is 2 minutes and 30 seconds, which actually we did talk about in our Alice in Wonderland episode.
Yeah.
Which also, that song has always felt longer to me than it is. Maybe.
Because it's kind of boring.
Yeah. Yeah. We were all thinking it. You said it.
That song worked really well in the context of Alice in Wonderland. It was actually really fascinating to analyze from a poetic perspective. But listening to it, it's a little more eerie. So it's not as exciting to listen to on a regular basis. Whereas Now That We Don't Talk is very poppy and fun and packs a punch in its 2 minutes and 26 seconds.
Yeah.
You actually said something about this that I very much feel, which is poetic. I think a lot of her smaller songs, the shorter ones, she does her poetry thing really well, where it's like very few words that say a lot. Imagine this song is kind of like the haiku in a world of Taylor Swift music. It's short, but in later albums, we've talked about this, that in Tortured Poets Department and even Midnight's to some extent, definitely the Evermore, Folkmore era, there's been a lot more words packed into the songs. Taylor Swift gets more and more verbose. Yeah, it's like the quill taketh away. She just like gets a little carried away with the lyrics. And earlier on in her music, she did do a really amazing job of just like really packing a punch with really simple lyrics and very few lyrics. And I think it's interesting where this one's on 1989. It definitely is poppy. It definitely is upbeat. It really goes kind of, we like, I think a lot of people felt that the 1989 Volt tracks were like some of her best. And this one, it fits all of the brief of 1989, but it does do that really well where it communicates a lot. It's kind of like the best of her work where it communicates a lot in few words.
Well, let's dive in. You went to a party. I heard from everybody. You part the crowd like the Red Sea. Don't even get me started.
Nice.
What?
Biblical reference right
Wow.
at the start of this.
Yeah, that's how you know it's going to be a nice light song. That you go from this very high school, you went to a party, and I know of that because I heard from everybody that you went there, to a biblical reference.
You
part
are
the crowd.
Moses.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think it's ascribing a certain power to the
Correct.
you of parting a crowd like the Red Sea. One, it's just a good metaphor.
It's a good
like
visual.
people know, people can
Yeah.
visualize it, but it's also like parting the Red Sea. To me, this isn't a house party. This is a party.
Party.
If the people at the party are the Red Sea, this is packed house. Yet they still made space for you to be able to walk through.
I love the "don't even get me started." It just is like, it's everything. It's like these 3 lines, like, don't even get me started about your power, your appeal, your
or that I heard from
presence.
everybody that you went to this party. Like that.
She wasn't there. The speaker wasn't there.
Yeah. It's definitely that, like, it's interesting because it is a you, so it's I'm talking to you, but the don't even get me started has the energy of like a friend is like, oh, did you hear? Like he went to this party or this person went to this party. And then the person's like, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. But this is an I to a you. So it's like, I'm telling you something, but also don't even get me started. I started this conversation. Also, don't get me started.
The song is called Now That We Don't Talk, but I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely with the speaker and the I and the you, and interesting.
Yes.
Because, and we know she's talking, you went to the party, but then it keeps going, did you get anxious though on the way home? So she's talking to this person, and then it says, I guess I'll never ever know now that we don't talk. So she's talking to the you, but
in her head,
or writing it down, or this is like write a letter that you never send.
Yeah.
Thing.
Write a letter and burn it.
I don't burn them, but they're in my journal.
I'm going to make a music thing here.
Thanks for
everyone
us.
Buckle in. It's not necessarily ending on an up note, but you went to a party. I heard from everybody. You get part the crowd like the Red Sea. Don't even get me started. Did you get anxious though on the way home? So we kind of had this like straight, slight like uptick, and then we had this like downtick of sound. And like you part the crowd like the Red Sea, don't even get me started is a lot of words, but it goes very quickly in the song.
Staccato.
Well, what is really interesting about what you said is that the things that have the uptick are the statements that she actually knows for sure. So for some reason, she's asking the things that she knows. And then the thing that's actually a question, she's telling us with the downtick, which is interesting because usually you end upwards with a question. You're like, did you get anxious?
Yeah.
So it is, but I think to me, it's like the point is she is distinguishing what she knows from what she is still curious about. And then it builds for I guess I'll never know now that we don't talk, as like she's able to like throw away that line, like throw away the question almost.
Yeah, to me, it kind of reads as you went to a party. I heard from everybody. Like, here's what it is. Here's what I'm annoyed. But then the back of her head, it's like the part that's annoyed. And then that's the part that still cares of, but did you get anxious on the way home? Like, I know that's the thing that happens. I'll never know now that we don't talk. That it's kind of like she feels to me in this first stanza a little torn between here's what you did. Don't even get me started. But did you get anxious? I still care. I still worry.
Care.
And I know that getting anxious on the way home is a thing you used to do, which indicates a former intimacy. It captures that loss of intimacy where he sees something from a distance and then you wonder about the inner life of someone who you used to know their inner life.
I agree. I very much feel I know this person so deeply here because that's really what you're revealing. You're like, I know you more than just the other average person. This is what everybody says. These are the things that everyone knows. And then here's the thing that I know.
to everyone else, you parted the crowd like the Red Sea with confidence, but I know that that's the type of shit that makes you anxious.
Yeah, exactly.
But we don't talk, so I'll never know. But like, there are all these things you do know about this person because you can see them or you hear them from other people. If we're ready to go to the next verse,
Yeah.
You grew your hair long, you got new icons, and from the outside, it looks like you're trying lives on. So this whole idea of what you know about somebody from the outside and that being so different from the inside and what the person is actually like.
It's almost like the first few lines talk about what the person is doing. And then the question comes in to ask, why is the person doing that? This person, the speaker, intimately knows why the person used to do the things they did. They know the mechanism behind it. They know the reasoning, and they know that they know that human. But they almost don't. It's like you used to know at one point, but now that we don't talk,
you don't know.
it's like you're losing it. You don't know anymore. You've also lost it. So you've become, in some ways, just one of those outsiders.
Yeah, it's like that. This is true for both a breakup and a friend breakup, of anything like that, of when you get to know someone so intimately, it's like you develop this encyclopedia of knowledge that is so specific to that person,
And you
that
understand
then
the reasonings in the moment. You know the thoughts behind everything.
and even things like the names of all their siblings, or stuff like, there's like so much just like knowledge in your head that then when you don't talk to that person, when that information comes up, you're like, oh, there's a book I haven't opened in a while, but like this is a thick book in my head. I got a lot of information in there that is useless to me now that we don't talk.
Yeah.
And also the idea that clearly there was some sort of, this was a monumental breakup, whether it's a friend breakup or relation breakup, because you grew your hair long. You've changed basically since we did talk. You grew your hair long. You've got new icons. You're looking up to new people. You're trying lives on. It looks like you are trying to be different people and you're trying to adapt and change who you are. So that,
or maybe trying to figure out who you are.
that's
To
fair.
me,
Yeah.
like trying lives on sounds like you're still trying to figure it out. You come off as lost. You don't know quite who you are. And so you're trying out different lives to try to figure that out.
Or that's what it looks like from the outside.
That's what
Like,
it
we
looks
don't
like
really
from the outside.
know.
Yeah, exactly.
And from this person's perspective, I miss the old ways. You didn't have to change, but I guess I don't have a say now that we don't talk.
I just love how these lines, like she says one thing, but it's like we're like literally translating here, because like as you were reading that, well, like, she says you didn't have to change. What I hear is, I liked the old you. I liked that version of you. You're trying new lives on, or you're trying lives on, and you're trying to figure out who you are now. And she's like, but I liked that old version of you.
Right. But I don't have a say.
And then she's like, but I guess I don't have a say. Yeah.
I also, and I'm now realizing this, so I'm going back a few lines, but also that you grew your hair long also really indicates time passing.
Right.
The amount of time it takes for someone to grow their hair long is a good amount of time.
Yeah.
That's not a month.
It's not you cut bangs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is like a sudden change and like a direct reaction to something. There's been a lot of time passing. And that also signals that, like, when it goes to I miss the old ways, that there's been significant time and that you've changed fairly significantly over a long period of time, not this quick, you went and got a makeover and you look different suddenly.
And I think, not necessarily in a bad way, but I think there is a slight naivete to I miss the old ways. You didn't have to change, because the idea that someone will never change is that's change is inevitable, I guess, is what I'm saying. So there's an interesting tension there of I miss the old ways, you didn't have to change. There's some nostalgia, but it feels a little naive too, of like the person did have to change. That's how life goes.
It also, like, the speaker doesn't know why they are changing anymore, right? Like, part of the problem is that the dialogue has closed. So the speaker can say you didn't have to change, but we don't really know why the change and what has prompted the various changes anymore because they don't talk. She's kind of, I think that it is a little presumptuous of her to assume that this person is the reason for the change.
Also, just giving in the Taylor context, it's funny to me that that line is on the vault track of an album where she chopped off her hair and went into fully pop music.
You don't have to change. I like the old ways.
Oh, what if it's just like a letter to herself?
Aww. We haven't heard. Okay. File that away for the purpose. I think this is the chorus.
Yeah.
I call my mom. She said that it was for the best. Remind myself the more I gave, you'd want me less. I cannot be your friend, so I pay the price of what I lost and what it cost now that we don't talk.
Okay, first off, mom goals. I would like to be that mom who my kid calls and I could be like, it's for the best, honey. So there's that.
I think it introduces another relationship into the mix, right?
Yeah.
Like, we're talking about whoever this you is obviously an important person in the speaker's life, but when she doesn't know what to do, she calls her mom. I call my mom, and my mom said it's for the best, and I love that.
I also like that it's present tense. It's like,
yes, ooh,
there's some interesting thing that's happening with the tenses in this song. There's past tense, there's present tense. This is very much in the presence. I call my mom. She said it was for the best. It makes me wonder a little bit if she still says it's for the best, if she said it was for the best back then. Like, did this whole change happen because at that time the mom said it was for the best? I'm a little curious of just like, is the mom the reason they don't talk?
I don't know. But no, I think remind myself the more I gave, you'd want me less. So there's this moment in this relationship where you're hearing this person went to a party, you're seeing the changes, like you kind of want them back, and you have to remind yourself about why you're not talking anymore. Because the more I gave to this relationship, it actually had the opposite effect. You didn't want me.
Yeah. I love that I cannot be your friend. It feels very like
emphatic.
Even if I wanted to, I can't. She's
setting a boundary, but it's also like, who are you trying to convince of that boundary is what I'm not sure of. I cannot be your friend. Like, it sounds like the person isn't asking you, because this is like a letter you're writing or something you're saying not directly to the person. So it kind of, to me, especially when paired with the previous line, remind myself the more I gave, you'd want me less. I cannot be your friend is a reminder to myself that this is not a relationship that I can have.
I feel like the word cannot is loaded because it could be a boundary. It can also be the universe, circumstances, other things at play that prevent us from being friends. It could be like a self-set line, or it could be just like this is the way that it is. Like, we just can't be friends. Like, it doesn't matter what I want. It doesn't matter what I need. It doesn't matter.
So like an Elphaba Glinda situation?
I mean, kind of, but
wow, what a unique comparison. We should have made that before.
Where did I come up with that? Well, I'm just trying to understand, because like I disagree, but I'm like trying to think, okay, where could I have seen that? And that's probably where
I guess my point is it's kind of loaded. It could be either. It could be like, I'm reminding myself that this is not going to work. So I'm setting that line, like, it's not good for me. It's not good for you. I just can't do it. But I think there's also the sense of like, wasn't meant to be. Like, we have a lot of songs where there's like this fated destiny kind of element, the strings. It's like people come together, people come into our lives for a reason. And
that's a great line. You should write that one down.
I've heard it said.
We're such dorks.
And but like sometimes they also go out of your life for a reason, you know? And so it's just like, I think that I like this word choice because I think it can be both. I think we can retain the agency and we can also relinquish the agency and say like, maybe it's me that I have to hold this, but maybe it's bigger than me and it's not just me.
Yeah, it's definitely different than I shouldn't be your friend or I won't be your friend.
Right.
It's I cannot be your friend. Those would all have different implications. I also think the time passing is an element too of I miss the old ways you didn't have to change, back to the last stanza of
Mm-hmm.
there's an element of it's the time has passed. Whatever it was is like too much has changed. We can never go back to that. That is
Yeah, that's a real
time moved
thing.
forward. Yeah.
If you lose too much time, then at some point you're like, we've missed out on crucial
Yeah.
things in each other's
Yeah.
lives.
I think I would like to go back just a moment and just like kind of sit with remind myself the more I
Mm-hmm.
gave you'd want me less, because I think that that is a very powerful and
Right.
loaded line, because it's also the first two stanzas are her caring about the other person. Were you anxious? Well, it's the tension. It's here's what I heard and then here's what I know. You went to a party. Were you anxious? I know that you did that. You grew your hair long. I feel like you didn't have to do that. But then it's an, oh yes, I gave so much in this relationship, and it just you would move further and further away the more I did that.
That adds another dimension to the cannot. It's like, what if I do
Right.
not know how to be your friend? Like, I don't know how to do it. The more I gave, the less you wanted me. So I cannot be your friend because I don't know how.
I also think it adds to me a tinge of sadness to the question of were you anxious, though, because it's implying that this other person does not know or does not care or would not remember about the things that makes the I anxious.
Mm.
Because this time has passed, yet the I character still
Still
knows and
cares.
still worries. And to me, this implies the other person would
Doesn't.
not return that, and that's really sad, and that hurts. And that would leading into the I cannot be your friend is like, oh yeah, I can't do
Right.
that.
It's almost, this illuminates that one person felt differently for the other person. So the
Yeah,
other person, the you, probably wouldn't be saying these same things and worrying
exactly.
about in the same way about the speaker. And I think that also, I cannot be your friend, so I pay the price of what I lost, is really another loaded term. The other kind of
Yeah.
angle, if this was a romantic relationship, it's saying, I know we're not romantically involved, but I also, despite how much you meant to me, I can't be your friend. I'd rather just like, we're going to be all or nothing, and I cannot be your friend. So I'm going to pay the price of not having you to talk to, not having like whatever I do with all this knowledge about the things that make you anxious or all of your, history.
This line is a good example of why I feel like this song is poetry. You have,
Mm-hmm.
so I pay the price. We're getting into a metaphor of like the use of price. Things that cost something have a price, but
Mm-hmm.
cost is in the second line under it.
Yeah.
So she says the price of what I lost and what it cost. Like this line is just so well architected. It's just she switched the lost and the cost. I don't know. I just feel like,
Oh, because you're saying it would have been, I pay the price for what it cost.
well, like
Yeah.
something costs something. That's why it has a
Right.
price, right? Like if you pay the price, you pay the
Right.
price of what
There's a
something
cost
costs.
there.
But
Yeah.
she like kind of she plays with it and adds in what I lost. So she's like, I pay the price of what I lost
And what it
and
costs. So
what it
not only
cost.
losing the relationship, but
Yeah.
everything I put into the relationship, the sunk cost,
Well,
effectively.
Yeah.
it's like there's a cost on top of the price, right?
Right.
Like that's what we're saying. So there's like two costs, kind of.
To me, it brings up sunk cost. This would be great for an economics and money episode,
It would be.
because you're not only saying I lost the person, you lost all of the time and
Yeah.
the emotional labor that you invested in this relationship. And I think, that's kind of often why people stay together longer than they should, because you're like, oh, well, I worked so hard. We've
Yeah.
spent so much time together. We
Yes.
know so much about each other. Our lives are so intertwined. And it's like, listen, if this isn't working, that's a sunk cost. Like, you can't think about how much time
Yeah.
and effort or money you spent on the relationship if today it's not working. It's a sunk cost, move on. But people aren't rational that way.
Chris is he does public policy, but he's also like an economist, and I like to incorrectly use economic terms on him, and I bring up sunk costs all the time. He's like, that's not sunk cost. And I'm like, I just like feel like it is.
Can you bring this up to him and ask if Taylor is talking about a sunk cost? Because I'm pretty sure she is. Like, I pay the price of what I lost and what it cost. This is a sunk cost, and I got to move on.
Yeah.
I just love that in poetry, every line break has a purpose that it serves. And this is just an example of a line break where if you just read this line by itself, so I pay the price of what I lost. Blech. So I pay the price of what I lost. That's a great line by itself. But by adding a line break and then saying, and what it costs, you're adding like a pause. She takes a second to pause and then like really nail it home. And I think maybe that's part of the reason why the song packs such a punch. And then we repeat, now that we don't talk, the repetition again and again and again.
Speaking of line breaks, the next stanza, if we're ready, has fascinating line breaks to me. What do you tell your friends we, line break, share dinners, long weekends with, line break. Truth is I can't pretend it's, line break. Platonic, it's just ended. These are fascinating line breaks to me that I don't totally get.
Yeah.
Are they enjambment?
They are.
Yeah, they are.
We have a lot of enjambments.
Look at that, bringing it back to that's the second reference to the Wonderland episode.
What do you tell your friends we shared dinners, long weekends with?
Well, it really emphasizes shared truth and platonic, right? Because it really places the emphasis then on the first word of the next line, which it's because it's giving so much space. What do you tell your friends we shared dinners, long weekends with?
Well, and also I think that first phrase can just be a phrase on its own. Like whenever there's enjambment or like to me the purpose the enjambment serves is like you don't know what she's saying until you get to the next line.
Right.
So it's like, what do you tell your friends? Kind of.
Could be a line.
It could be a line.
On its
it's
own,
just, what do you tell your friends we shared dinners and long weekends with? I mean, sharing dinners is intimate, but you could like go out to eat or whatever, but sharing dinners feels like gathering at a long table, like sitting together and like really breaking bread together. Long weekends,
those are sacred. You're sharing a long weekend with another couple, like.
But it can be, again, long weekends can be two things. It can be like long weekends, like you have a Monday off. It can also be long weekends, like we went away for a weekend together and it was a long stretch of time that we stayed with people, right? Like maybe we went on vacations together.
Yeah, I always interpret it as like, oh, me and some friends went up to a cabin for a Friday to Monday trip or something like that.
But the thought is the same, that like you're taking yourself out of your day to day and you're taking sacred time with other people and bringing them into your life.
Yeah. And then emphasis on the truth. Again, like truth is I can't pretend. It's platonic. It's just ended.
Yeah, and truth is I can't pretend could be the line in and of itself.
Could be the line, exactly.
Saying I can't pretend about anything, but it's platonic.
Yeah.
Like, that we agree.
Yeah, I can't be your friend. I can't even pretend to be your friend.
And the way that it says truth is makes me question, are we pretending? Are we pretending it's platonic? It's just ended. You know, like this is like really, I mean, it was supposed to change the meaning, but this is like changing the meaning. It's like, what are we pretending?
I mean, well, I guess this for me brings up like, wait, was this ever a romantic relationship or was it supposed to be platonic the whole time?
Right. And is this why they're no longer friends? Like, is it both? Is it about friendship and a romantic relationship?
Like, a friend with feelings and you sort of a situationship that you explored and you can no longer pretend that you're just friends because you explored too far.
I now see this song totally differently.
Yeah. I'm like, wait a second.
Because I always assumed, and we'll get to the purpose of the song, but like I always assumed this was a romantic relationship that now like they're not in a relationship anymore. But now I'm like, no,
right.
oh, they
I did
were
too. But and I was like,
I cannot be friends with you. And I'm like, oh, I feel so dumb for ever thinking it the other way.
well, I also am like, I always think about this as friendship, but like, I obviously know it's a romantic song, and I'm like, wait.
Because the two people do feel differently about each other. I'm sure everyone listening to this is like, you guys are idiots. Like they're just kind of
I'm with you. Well, and I don't think that this is going that deep, but also the use of the word platonic does have like a romantic and then a non-romantic, but it also goes back to Plato and the platonic ideal and the idea of there's a version of everything that is the perfect ideal version of it. And so I don't think it's super deep. We don't have to go into a lot of layers, but that word is loaded to you could even say like truth is I can't pretend it's not ideal, it's not good, nothing about it is good. It's just ended. It's over. Whatever this is, whatever it was, we're done. It's over.
And this is why she sings the line, you know how to ball, I know Aristotle, because she just referenced Plato on 1989.
Is that like is it like a secret thing that she litters in? It's like, how many philosophers can I drop into my songs?
We should do a philosopher episode. That would actually be super fun.
Collect my philosophers version where I just have all my philosopher songs. Do we do a philosopher episode?
This is why we are AP Taylor Swift and not freshman year English Taylor Swift.
I do like, now that I'm going back even through this particular stanza, but maybe like even the whole song, it's like, what do you tell your friends we share dinners, long weekends with?
Like,
makes me like rethink.
Or are we in a relationship?
I think they were friends. I think they were just friends, like part of a friend group. And
it's a situation.
Something fell apart because one person had feelings and the other person didn't.
The more I gave, you'd want me less.
Yeah.
Well, and I would also then, if we're going with that theory, I pay the price of what I lost. She also lost a lot of her friends who were in that group. And that's I think about that. I was about to say all the time. That's not true. Every now and then I have the thought of like, what would ever happen? Like, you know, if Chris and I broke up, and I think about like all of his college friends who are my friends now, and like, wow, he would keep all of them. And I'm like, thank God I still like him, because that would be really hard to lose those friends too.
But that to me carries the gravitas of what she's talking about with that line.
Yeah.
So I pay the price of what I lost. That's the friendship, because they don't talk anymore. But like, and what it cost.
Yeah.
This friendship, like losing this friendship cost her all these other things. Maybe cost her an entire life that she had. And it's true, like when it says, what do you tell your friends that we share dinners with? They're not my friends anymore. They're just your
and they're not
friends.
and they're not our friends.
They're not our friends.
Which would imply that maybe they were in a romantic relationship. That this line, what do you tell your friends? Now that I think of this as like an undefined relationship that one person wanted more, reminds me of a time I was dating a guy for like a couple months, and then his parents called and he was like, oh, who are you? They were like, who are you with? And he's like, oh, I'm just someone I'm hanging out with. And I was like, excuse me? We're hanging out?
Sir.
It's like, we have to have a conversation. What are you telling people about what this is? Because we were telling people very different things.
You're like, I'm about to get married. Like, I'm in.
This is not like hanging out. This is not platonic. Like, what is? I can't pretend this is platonic. Like, what is this?
And that's the like more you gave, the less you
less.
wanted. Yeah.
And this is why you have to have
like that.
I was gonna say, ladies, this is why we have to have open conversations early about what
gotta have.
Where is this going?
Does the acronym DTR mean anything to you guys? It's defining the relationship.
Oh, was that a rhetorical question?
I was like, I was like, it means nothing to me.
Yeah, I truly wasn't sure how universal it was. Yeah, you gotta DTR.
Y'all haven't been single in a hot minute. Yes.
No, I know what it is. Thank you very much. I know what a DTR is. I had one with Chris who friend zoned me, and then 8 months later we started dating.
I love that. You
I
just said, what
genuinely
do you tell your
don't think
friends?
that term existed when I started dating my husband.
No, it did not. That's correct.
Probably true, yeah.
That's correct. That is correct. Anyway, now we go back to the chorus.
But it changes a little.
Okay. How?
So I call my mom, she said, to get it off my chest. Remind myself the way you faded till I left.
Oh, thank you.
So those two lines are different.
When does she say, get it off my chest? What song?
Lavender Haze.
Lavender Haze.
God, what I could do with the space in my brain if I didn't just have to
That's
immediately
a very
come up with.
impressive superpower.
I also like the way that Monzi had the like wasn't singing it, but had like the beat to it.
She knew. Anyway, which she recorded Lavender Haze and Midnights while she was re-recording albums, so and we know that she likes to save lines that weren't used, so maybe she didn't win it. Anyway, remind myself the way you faded till I left compared to remind myself the more I gave you'd want me less.
Yeah, to me it's just like someone pursuing someone else and they're just kind of getting more and more about the whole situation.
Have you heard the term breadcrumbing, ladies?
Yes.
No. Okay.
No.
Okay. Jen is immersed in dating culture. I appreciate that. It's when someone
I have single friends.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
I don't even have those anymore.
Hi, what are we? What are we?
You are the
oh
last,
my God.
Jody.
Don't. Wow. Okay.
The one and only.
Great,
I don't even think of you as single because I just feel immersed in our relationship. So
good save. Nice save.
You're married to the podcast.
Yeah, this is our relationship.
Oh God, help me. Anyway, breadcrumbing is when somebody like just kind of like slowly fades out over text instead of ghosting, where they just stop responding. Breadcrumbing is like they'll respond less and less frequently until it's just like.
That makes sense.
They're gone. So this person's
little Hansel and Gretel reference.
Yeah, faded until she's like, you know what? And then until I left. So this is clearly the I has the agency here and has made the decision, which we know because she says, I cannot be your friend. So I pay the price of what I lost. So like she's made the choice that I can't be your friend. But this person also like didn't do this in a very nice way. Instead of coming out and being like, I just want to be friends, they just wanted this person less and like faded away as opposed to just being clear and communicative. Communicate, men, for the 2 men that listen to this podcast, please.
And it's like it's a less intense version of you're losing me in some ways. You're losing to me. You're losing me has more weight. Like it feels like it was longer and meant more, but it's still the idea of like I'm still here, but you're not trying anymore. And like, I'm gonna leave, but this song is saying that's what happened and I left. So like I, for my own sake, have to cut this off because
this is not helpful.
Yeah, this isn't good.
And speaking of it not being good, now we get the bridge is like oddly celebratory.
Yeah.
Or I guess we'll see.
Is this the bridge? It's at the end, right?
Yes, it's a bridge, to nowhere. Yeah, which I think this song leaves a lot unresolved, and so does A Bridge to Nowhere. So I love that. I don't have to pretend I like acid rock or that I'd like to be on a mega yacht with important men who think important thoughts. Guess maybe I am better off now that we don't talk.
So much to unpack here. First of all, is acid rock a music genre or is it the candy?
What candy is acid rock?
You know the rock candy?
No, acid rock is a music genre.
I was like, are there drugs in the rock candy? Was going to be my question.
What is no rock candy is like from the 60s.
I think it's just pure sugar.
Yeah, it's just from the 60s.
No, I know, but like if it had acid in it,
acid rock is a subgenre of rock music that emerged in the mid-1960s, closely associated with the psychedelic movement and counterculture of that era. So you know what?
Okay, yeah. So maybe, right? Drugs,
Jimi
candy,
Hendrix,
music.
Jimi Hendrix, Cream, Jefferson Airplane. I don't know.
It's like rock that you enjoy when you're tripping on acid. Is that what I'm interpreting correctly?
I like Eric Clapton and Cream, and I have not tripped on acid. So,
or I mean, it was also the era too where it was like they were probably
the artists
drugs while making it.
Yes,
the people making rock were on acid.
And Cream wrote the song "Cocaine." So yes,
yeah, and probably at the shows, drugs were flowing at the time. For the audience.
I can see why Taylor would not fit
so naive
to that culture.
Yes. According to AI, it peaked in 1967-69 before evolving into harder rock and metal styles. I also had to the term acid references LSD. So again,
yes,
Alice in Wonderland. Okay, this is like a companion episode to Alice in Wonderland.
Because LSD.
Because LSD.
I mean, it's not true.
Anyway, I don't have to pretend that I like it. great.
Yeah.
Here's a subgenre of music that you're like, whatever, because we've all done that where we pretended to like something for some guy.
True.
Or that I like to be on a mega yacht with important men who think important thoughts.
Not just a yacht. Yachts are impressive, but mega yacht.
It feels very pretentious.
Yes.
Of like, also like in a modern day, someone can actually like it, but when I think of a man who in the modern day is like, acid rock is the best music there ever has been. Also, let's go to this yacht. I know a lot of important people. I'm like, you're pretentious as hell, sir.
Yeah, it's the type of thing that like I'd enjoy going on a mega yacht for the experience, but not to like
talk to men.
Yeah, not because I enjoy the company of the people that are there necessarily. Like, I'm like, yes, I want to see what it's like to be on a mega yacht, but not because this is genuinely the group of people I want to be with.
I looked up mega yacht because I wanted to see what one looks like. And mega yachts are basically baby cruises.
Yes.
The other thing is that mega yachts are also called super yachts. And that is funny to me because somehow mega yacht just makes it sound like techie. It's like, here's a giga yacht, here's a mega yacht, here's a killer yacht. Tech money travels on mega yachts. Everybody else travels on super yachts. And clearly from this conversation, I'm revealing I do not know anybody who has ever been on a yacht.
There is a mega yacht or some sort of yacht in the Hudson that's been out there for like 3 weeks.
This is how Jody and I live really different lives. Jody can see a yacht out of her window, and I have never seen one, and I have to Google it.
It's too far away to see the name, but the best part about boats is you can look up the name of the boat and then know exactly who owns it, how much they paid for it. You get like a whole tour of it. It's great. Anyway,
I had to. Can I just re-emphasize that I had to Google yacht to see what a yacht looks like, and you can look out your window and see a yacht.
Welcome to New York. It's been waiting for you.
I think that these first few lines too, going back to the more I gave, the more you wanted me less, we're seeing everything she gave here that she didn't really want to.
I love that.
Pretended to like music. She would go to these events she wasn't interested in. And even doing all of that, this other person wanted her less. Which to me is an interesting question of, we'll never know, but if the narrator had been true to themselves, would the other person have liked them more? Like, was some of it the yearning, the striving, the pretending that was not working in the relationship?
Well, I think let's finish the bridge because I think it might say more.
Well, before we finish the bridge, actually, sorry, really fast. I do want to say that the echo here of guess maybe I'm better off. She's guessing that she's better off, even though her mother has been telling her it's for the best.
That's spoken like a true mother, Monty. You're like, Mom is telling you.
I know.
And you're not listening.
I think it's funny. It's because she keeps calling her mom for reassurance, and her mom keeps saying it's for the best. But here you see that she's still guessing. She's still like, am I better off? Maybe I am.
Yeah, the tension is very clear in this song to me.
Yeah. Okay, let's finish the bridge.
This is a really sad ending to the bridge, which also makes it really sad that it's the end of the song. And the only way back to my dignity was to turn into a shrouded mystery, just like I had been when you were chasing me. Guess this is how it has to be now that we don't talk.
Yeah, so this to me reveals that just being herself would not have worked. It like she had to pretend to do all these things to like that person, and maybe that further pushed him away, but she couldn't have gone back to her dignity because that wasn't an option. Like she couldn't just be herself, and maybe that like the person actually liked her the most when they knew nothing about her.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, but I'm also not convinced that the only way back to her dignity was to turn into a shrouded mystery.
I mean, that's the way she felt.
Yes,
call
her feelings are valid,
girl.
But, yeah, exactly. That's like where, like, if you again call your mom again, tell her that, and your mom's gonna be like, no. But definitely, that's how she felt. Which is
but I
fair.
think I definitely think that's really interesting in saying just like I had been when you were chasing me. Like,
when was he chasing her? We don't. That's the first time we ever hear that he was chasing her.
Up until now, it was implied,
right,
that she was doing the chasing.
And it also just sounds like he only liked her
when she was a mystery.
when she was a mystery, when he knew nothing about her.
Well, going back to our unreliable narrator, she definitely thinks he only liked her when she was a shrouded mystery. This would be very interesting to get the other point of view.
I'm sure he's like, what? We were in a relationship? What do you mean?
Yeah.
He has no clue.
But I also think, like, if they're just friends, or if it was a situationship where they weren't actually together, there was like this, like, chasing me can be like, you were interested in me. Like, people will be
Right.
really interested in friends they're trying to pursue. It's like, oh, I really want to get to know this person. I want to be friends with that person. Maybe he only like really expressed an interest in her when they barely knew each other, when they don't like, when she wasn't, when she was still a little mysterious. And then when they actually started talking more and actually doing things together, he was just like, I'm okay.
Yeah, I feel like this bridge is making me not trust the narrator a whole lot. Like, I believe that the narrator believes this, and I believe that there are nuggets of truth in here, but I guess my point is if a friend said these things to me, I'd be like, can we talk about this? I'm not sure everything you're saying is 100% true. Like, it's not ringing as something of like, I have verified this information. It's just, I really strongly believe this in this moment, which is valid. Like, that's not to invalidate like feeling that way in those moments. But if a friend said this to me, I'd be like, let's unpack this.
Yeah, I sense a lot of insecurity in
Yes.
this bridge, right? Like,
That's the word I was looking for.
It's a lot of questioning, which I think is interesting because there is questioning throughout the song. There's, like we talked about, there's the parts that we know, and then there's the questions that are left unanswered. And there's a lot of, the word guess shows up many times in this song, right? I guess I'll never know, but I guess I don't have a say. There is one instance where she's like, truth is, I can't pretend. But even when your mom is saying this is for the best, she's like, guess I'm better off. There's a lot of guessing. And then here at the end, we end with that. Guess this is how it has to be. The whole time throughout this entire song, the speaker is really unsure and insecure. And it's like, why does it have to be this way? And then at the end, they're like, guess this is how it has to be now that we don't talk. But you have this sense of not knowing, not being sure, and not really feeling satisfied with this conclusion.
Are you circling your purpose, do you think?
I'm just really stuck on how in this bridge it went from at the beginning this sort of like flippant, triumphant, here are all the things I don't have to pretend to like anymore because we don't talk, to such darkness and insecurity of that I'm going to turn into a shrouded mystery again because it's the only way I can get back who I am.
Because I think she's reaching. And like trying to find the silver lining here. She's like, I guess I don't have to pretend. Like, I'm almost now inserting the word guess into every single statement. To your point, Jen, about the unreliable narrator, it's like you almost have to insert that into everything that has been said. It's, this person is unsure. They don't know.
Well, and the use of the word guess is saying she doesn't think she's a reliable narrator. Like, she doesn't know. This isn't something she firmly believes, and we shouldn't trust her. She's not sure herself.
And turning into a shrouded mystery, meaning I have to be unknowable.
Yeah.
Shroud is so interesting too, because it has this association with death, like with
a funeral shroud.
Funeral shroud. You're shrouded in black, like a black veil.
Yeah, it's a weird word to use here.
I'm just like if Jody, if you were dating someone and you broke up and you're like, I guess I have to go back to being a shrouded mystery, it would be like the biggest like red light going off in my head of like friend, no.
Let's get you to therapy that like you feel like you need to be like concealed and secretive in order to like have your dignity.
Likable.
Yeah, to have your dignity back. Like, no.
Yeah. And almost be dead, lifeless.
Yeah.
You have to
just
go
like
back
I had
to
been when
lifeless.
You were chasing me. You should not have been with this person.
Right. Found this person at a bad time. You are the problem.
Your mother was right.
You went to him at the wrong time. You didn't need this.
I don't know what the purpose of this song is, but I will say the meaning of the song has changed dramatically for me.
Yeah.
From like talking about a relationship that like is over and you're glad it's over, but you're still stressed because you're obviously still thinking about it, to one where there was so clearly not any alignment in what the relationship was, and so much insecurity both about whatever was going on in the relationship and life after the relationship. Insecurity in terms of what the relationship was, and also who am I now that I don't have this relationship, whatever type of relationship it is. So I think in some ways, if I consolidate that into a purpose, it would be uncertainty. Like the purpose of this song is this deep uncertainty about who this person is, who I should be, how I feel about whatever relationship we were in, and why it ended, and it's instability. And I think the fact that the song has endings, the fact that the song ends in a bridge, which creates this uncertainty, this feeling that there's like not really anything resolved here. The enjambments also create this feeling of like there's not a resolution because you kind of have to keep going to understand what's on the next line. It's very colloquial and syncopated in the tone. You went to a party, I heard from everybody. It's very unstable. And I think the purpose of the song is to just create that instability and that uncertainty and that insecurity. It's insecurity in a song, basically, which is great.
I think to add to like some of the structure of it, I remember when the song first came out, everyone being like, "This song is too short. I want more. It's too short." And I'm like, I kind of think that's part of it.
Yeah.
That
it's abrupt.
You're left wanting more, and she was also left wanting more.
Yeah, and yeah. I think that we don't often go into the musical structure and music theory because it's not what we know. But even without knowing enough about music theory, we know that the length of the song, the structure of the song, the way she ties lyrics together all create that sense of
you're left wanting.
Yeah, left wanting. And there you go. That's the song. The song leaves you wanting, and that's the purpose of the song, because this relationship has left us wanting.
I think the song is a poem. Like a lot of her songs are, but this song in particular is probably like one of the more poetic songs that we have gone through and deep dived. Every single thing in this song is doing work, whether it's the lines, whether it's the word choice, whether it's the way that she's slowly building. Like I might like to go through and even try to figure out if there's like a rhyme structure here or like what is the meter. Like I just think every single thing here is doing work, and it's a deliberate choice that the bridge is where it is. That plays a role. Every single thing here plays a role. And yeah, I definitely think like poems leave you with a feeling, and this leaves you with uncertainty and insecurity and anxiety because it's unfinished, and it's and there's a sense of I don't know the answer. You feel like you are questioning. There are a lot of rhetorical questions in the song. I love the guessing. Like we talk about women and how they should talk, and women often use feel words, or they question, or they apologize, and all these things kind of diminish how you come across in a room, and it makes people lose confidence in you. And that's exactly what happened as we were going through it. Like we get to the end and we're like, I don't know if this is a reliable narrator. We've lost confidence in the speaker because the speaker is just guessing everything. And so I think I'm also viewing the song differently in that I talked about this last week, is I always thought of the song as referring to friendship, and I still do, like in my own personal life, but I think I thought it was obviously a romantic song, and now I'm like, ooh, maybe there's a reason that I felt it was related to friendship. Like maybe it is about both. Maybe it's about friendship and a relationship. Maybe it's both of those things, because there's like this uncertain period in between, and so maybe that's why it gives off those feelings. I also think I'm curious if she did this song almost as like an assignment of like a challenge of like, let me see if I can create something that communicates this level of uncertainty.
Interesting.
Because of just like how technically everything is so tight and coming together. It's interesting to me that she chose to leave this off the initial album and then add it in as a vault track, because it sounds to me like a song that took a lot of work. Glad that we eventually heard it.
Definitely a yes and to all of that for me. I think before I thought of this song as we had an intimate relationship, now we don't. That's weird, which is in there, but I've seen a lot more what if elements in this, where we have songs where she's in the moment of a breakup. We have songs where she's a long time later reflecting on it. And this to me feels like 6 months after the end of an intimate relationship, where you've sort of started to move on, but you still have those moments of like, what if? What if we had been able to figure it out? What if we were still talking? And it's those questions that create that uncertainty of I'll never know. And then we have, and guess I'll never know now that we don't talk. But it feels like that kind of in between to me. And I agree. I think it could be friendship. It could be romantic. As with many of her songs, she gets specific enough we know the feeling, but loose enough we can apply that feeling to many other situations. But I think that uncertainty, I think we all have those questions. To make it a work song, you know, it's that feeling 6 months after you leave a bad job where you're like, but what if my new boss was better? Or what if this? And you're like, I'll never know. The kind of guess I'll never know to me is like a really core part of the song, of like trying to come to terms with the fact that you will never know. But that feels uncertain, that feels loose, and you always kind of wonder, you know, and you're just trying to accept it, but you can't, because it's a hard thing to accept. It's a hard, you know, paths not taken is always going to be a hard thing. So then we have the reminding myself that the more I gave, you'd want me left, reminding myself that the way you faded. Like, I'm trying to remind myself of all the reasons why it's better that we don't talk, why this is the better choice. But it's that tension, that back and forth of like, here's this, but it's better. But what about this? No, it's better. And it captures that tension and leaves you wanting, which is really interesting. You're right. It's such a poem.
I think this song was just ultimately too insecure to put on the original 1989. I think
Maybe.
Even when there's anxiety in some of the 1989 songs, like Out of the Woods,
it was a confident album.
Yeah, there's still some confidence is the right word.
Yeah.
And this song lacks confidence.
Yeah. I love that.
It's a very insecure song.
Yeah. So it's the vault is the perfect place for it, because it's like, here's something I was feeling at the time, but it didn't fit with.
Also, when you put it in the context of the other Volt songs that she released, I think that was a common theme with a lot of them. They were very revealing and very, it felt more personal and that's a good point. That was fun. This was quite a transformation. Fun. We went on a journey with this one.
This is one of the few songs where I'm like, wow, I clearly didn't know it until we dove into it. So glad we did a deep dive. Well, join us next time as we overanalyze some more Taylor Swift songs right here on AP Taylor Swift.
That's all we have for you today on AP Taylor Swift. Be sure to rate and review us on your favorite podcast app. Follow us on social at AP Taylor Swift to stay up to date, and join us next time as we overanalyze and deep dive into the next Taylor Swift song on AP Taylor Swift.